The moon, pale and distant, hovers high above a city cradled in the silence of time. Orvieto, a town perched upon a hill, as if suspended between the waking world and the dreamscape, invites us into its ancient embrace. A soft bell tolls in the distance, reverberating through the cool night air, its echo drifting like a whisper across the valley. The sound is not loud, it does not demand attention. Instead, it beckons gently, a soft sigh from a forgotten age. The bell's song is sacred, its meaning hidden, buried deep within the stone walls of the cathedral that looms above the town, like a silent sentinel, watching over the centuries. It is said that beneath the shadow of this great cathedral lies a secret, a treasure of untold value, not gold nor jewels, but knowledge, something far more precious. Whispers tell us of a lost civilization, the Etruscans, whose secrets were so profound that they seem to have vanished from the earth, leaving behind only traces of their mysterious existence. The bell tolls again, and the air thickens with the weight of their memory. We stand on the cobbled streets of Orvieto, beneath the looming spires of the cathedral, gazing up at the structure that dominates the skyline. The cathedral's grandeur is undeniable, its delicate carvings and towering walls a testament to the devotion of its builders. Yet beneath this sacred monument lies another story, one that has long been buried in the depths of the earth. The Etruscans, once skilled artisans and enigmatic seers, disappeared as mysteriously as they arrived, leaving behind only whispers and remnants of their existence. Their civilization, once great, is now little more than a distant echo, scattered across the hills like forgotten fragments of a dream. Somewhere, deep beneath Orvieto, buried in the earth, lies the key to understanding who the Etruscans truly were, what they believed, and what secrets they took with them when they vanished. As we walk through the shadowed streets of the town, the weight of their lost history presses down, like an ancient breath trapped in the walls. The cathedral, with its towering arches and intricate carvings, stands as a monument to the Etruscan legacy, a place where their whispers can still be heard, if only we listen closely enough. But it is not above ground that the true mystery lies. It is beneath our feet, in the labyrinthine chambers and forgotten catacombs hidden below the town. The moonlight slips through the cracks of time, casting long shadows across the cobblestones, leading us towards the forgotten entrance to the catacombs. The air grows colder as we descend, the sound of our footsteps muffled by the damp earth. The walls close in around us, and we feel the weight of centuries pressing down, as if the very stones themselves are holding their breath. In the darkness, the faint scent of ancient incense lingers, a faint echo of rituals performed long ago. The faint toll of the bell, still echoing from above, is like a heartbeat, marking the passage of time, urging us forward, deeper into the earth. As we move through the labyrinth, the narrow corridors open into vast chambers, their walls adorned with symbols and carvings, their meanings obscured by the veil of time. The Etruscans, it is said, were not just artisans and builders, but seers who could read the very fabric of the universe. They looked to the stars, studied the flight of birds, and listened to the whispers of the wind. They believed that knowledge was not something to be hoarded but something to be passed down, a sacred gift to be protected at all costs. But what happened to their knowledge? What became of their sacred teachings? The bell tolls again, and we feel it in the very marrow of our bones, the call of something lost, something hidden just out of reach. As we wander deeper into the catacombs, the walls seem to pulse with the energy of the past, the echoes of long-forgotten words vibrating in the air. It is as though the stone itself remembers, holding within it the knowledge that was once sealed away, waiting for the right moment to be rediscovered. There are rumors that the treasure lies here, beneath Orvieto, hidden in a vault of stone, a place where the Etruscan secrets remain sealed, guarded by the earth itself. Some say it is a treasure of knowledge, a collection of scrolls or ancient tablets, inscribed with the wisdom of the ages. Others believe it is something far more elusive, a key to understanding the Etruscans' mystical knowledge, their ability to communicate with the unseen forces of the universe. As we stand at the threshold of a forgotten chamber, we are filled with a quiet awe, the kind of reverence that comes with standing at the edge of something sacred, something that has been waiting for centuries to be uncovered. The moonlight, dim but steady, filters through the cracks above, casting a pale, ethereal glow upon the walls. The silence is profound, broken only by the soft toll of the bell from the cathedral above, still ringing its ancient song, as if calling us to remember, to listen, to seek what has been lost. And then, as we step forward into the chamber, we feel it a shift in the air, a subtle vibration that hums beneath our skin. The chamber is not empty, but filled with the weight of untold history, the remnants of something far greater than ourselves. The walls are lined with faded murals, their colors dimmed by the centuries, but still alive with meaning, still speaking a language that we can almost understand. It is as though the Etruscans themselves are watching, waiting for us to unlock the final secret, to understand what they left behind. But as we move closer, we find that there is no final answer, no grand revelation. The chamber is empty, save for the dust of ages. The bell tolls again, and the sound seems to stretch into the infinite distance, echoing through the corridors of time, fading into the eternal silence of the night. Perhaps it was never meant to be found, this treasure. Perhaps it is a secret too sacred to be uncovered, a mystery that will forever remain just out of reach, like the fleeting glow of a star on the horizon, beautiful but distant, a symbol of something larger than ourselves. As we retrace our steps, moving slowly back toward the surface, we leave the catacombs behind, the soft toll of the bell guiding us upward. The moon, now high above, bathes the town in its pale light, and Orvieto, silent and still, holds its secrets close, as it always has. The cathedral's spires reach towards the heavens, and beneath the earth, the echoes of the Etruscans remain, hidden in the depths, where only the stones and the silence remember. And so, as the night deepens and the world outside falls away, we are left with the mystery of Orvieto, the lost treasure of the Etruscans, and the soft toll of the bell, fading into the stillness of the night. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen, and some secrets remain, eternally veiled in the soft shadows of time. There is a place in the far reaches of the earth, where the world is forever kissed by winter's breath. In the stillness of this eternal frost, beneath the thick silence of snow-laden trees, there lies a forgotten village, Colima. It is a village veiled in mist, hidden beneath layers of time and ice, where its people have vanished like shadows into the white abyss. The wind howls, but there is no one left to hear it. The air itself feels heavy with memory, as if it carries the weight of 1,000 whispered secrets. It is said that long ago, when the forests of Siberia whispered their ancient songs, a people lived here, their lives intertwined with the rhythm of the snow. They were known as the guardians of memory, skilled in the sacred art of preserving the past. In the heart of the village, their homes were not made of wood or stone, but of ice and snow, crafted with hands that knew the earth's deep pulse. Each house, each dwelling, was a vessel for stories, stories of the stars, of the changing seasons, of the spirits that danced in the wind. Their lives were rituals, each step measured with reverence for the land that cradled them. But the village is empty now. The homes stand frozen in time, their windows fogged with the breath of forgotten lives. What happened to them? Where did they go? Whispers tell us that one winter, as the moon hung heavy in the sky, the village simply disappeared. One by one, the people faded into the cold, their presence slipping away like mist into the horizon, leaving behind only the echo of their lives. The first flakes of snow fall gently from the sky, each one unique, each one carrying with it a secret of its own. We stand at the threshold of Colima, looking out over the frozen expanse, the wind stirring the snow at our feet. The air is crisp, biting with the chill of ages. The trees, gnarled and ancient, bend under the weight of the snow, their branches reaching like outstretched arms, whispering the forgotten names of those who once walked here. The village is a ghost, preserved in the frost, and yet it is not silent. It breathes. The wind carries the echoes of laughter, the murmur of voices long silenced, as if the very earth remembers. We step carefully through the village, moving slowly between the ice-bound homes, each one a delicate monument to lives lived in harmony with the land. The homes are simple, yet beautiful, their walls glistening like the skin of a frozen animal, the patterns of snow woven into the very structure of the village. There are no people, but the village feels alive, as if the walls still hum with the memories of those who once called this place home. Peering through a frosted window, we see the faint outline of an interior, a table set with cups that have long since frozen, chairs arranged in quiet waiting. The shadows of past lives linger here, but they are quiet, still. There is no warmth, only the cold that seeps into everything. Yet, even in this cold, the village seems to pulse with the life that once was. It is as if the snow itself holds the memories of the people, like pages from a forgotten book, waiting to be turned. With each step deeper into the frozen forest, the line between past and present blurs. The trees stand like ancient sentinels, their roots entwined with the soil, their bark worn smooth by centuries of wind and frost. The forest seems to breathe in rhythm with the land, its every whisper a reminder of what has been lost. The snow falls in thick blankets, wrapping the world in a soft, endless silence. But beneath that silence, there is a murmur, a soft, almost imperceptible murmur. The land speaks to us, not with words, but with the deep vibrations of something ancient, something eternal. The village was not just a place, but a memory, a living prayer whispered into the ear of the earth. In the distance, we see a solitary figure, not of flesh, but of shadow, a spirit, perhaps, or simply the way the wind moves through the trees. It seems to call us, beckoning us to follow. We walk through the snow, the crunch of our footsteps, the only sound that breaks the stillness. Each step takes us deeper into the heart of the forest, into the heart of the mystery that is Kolyma. The forest is vast, its trees stretching towards the heavens, but within its depths there is a stillness, a profound, sacred silence. We pass through hollowed trunks, their bark etched with the marks of time, their branches heavy with snow. There are no birds, no animals, no signs of life. Yet the silence is not empty. It is filled with something that cannot be named. Perhaps it is the memory of those who lived here, or perhaps it is the spirit of the land itself, watching, waiting. With each step, the mystery of the village unfurls like the delicate petals of a forgotten flower. The deeper we go, the more the forest speaks in whispers, its breath soft on the wind. It is a language of silence, a language of the earth, understood only by those who listen with patience and reverence. We are not here to find answers, but to be still and listen, to allow the forest to speak to us in its own time. As we walk, we are reminded of the village that once was, of the people who vanished without a trace. Perhaps they did not leave in the way we imagine. Perhaps they did not flee. Perhaps they simply became one with the land, dissolving into the snow, their spirits carried away on the wind. The mystery of their disappearance is not meant to be solved, for it is not the answer that matters, but the question itself: what does it mean to be remembered by the land? The final image is of a single snowflake, falling slowly through the air, its delicate form caught in the dim light of the setting sun. It drifts downward, its path steady, unhurried, until it reaches the earth, where it disappears into the blanket of snow below. And with that final, fragile image, the forest falls silent once more. The mystery of Kolyma remains, its secrets sealed in the frost, its people remembered only by the land that once cradled them. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps the village of Kolyma was never meant to be remembered, but rather to exist as a fleeting moment, like the snowflake, here for a time and then gone. Some stories are not for us to know, but to feel, to allow the silence to wash over us, to listen to the whispers carried by the wind, and to understand that some mysteries are meant to remain hidden, wrapped in the cold embrace of time. As the forest fades into the distance, we leave with no answers, only questions. Questions that will linger in the mind like the quiet fall of snow, soft and endless, until we are ready to listen again. Beneath the infinite tapestry of a night sky, where the stars twinkle like forgotten whispers, there lies a land where time itself seems to hold its breath. The desert stretches out, vast and endless, its golden sands shifting like the secrets buried within the earth. Among these shifting dunes, there stands a tomb ancient, veiled by centuries of silence, untouched by the march of time. It is the tomb of a forgotten king, whose name has been erased by the winds of history. Yet, beneath the moon's soft gaze, it remains a silent testament to a civilization that believed in the eternal journey of the soul. The path to this tomb is faint, barely a trace upon the sand, as if the earth itself is reluctant to reveal its secret. The stars above shine with quiet intensity, their light cold but guiding, leading us through the desert as though they themselves are beckoning us toward the hidden place. The air is thick with the scent of dust, mingling with the faintest trace of ancient incense carried by the wind, carrying with it the forgotten prayers of those who once walked here. Some say the king who lies within this tomb was a figure caught between worlds, a soul forever bound to the heavens, never truly departing the earth. It is said that his reign was marked by his devotion to the stars, the shimmering lights above that guided his every step, his every decision. His people, like him, believed in the eternal journey, the journey that would carry them beyond death, into the endless night where the stars waited, silent and eternal. They say he walked among the heavens, conversed with gods, and charted the skies with a wisdom beyond his time. Yet, for all his greatness, he too was swallowed by the sands, his name lost to the winds, his story fading into the shadows of time. But tonight, under the pale moonlight, we take our first step along the path that leads to his resting place. The air around us hums softly, and we follow the faint trail of footprints left by those who sought his tomb, those who followed the same path, drawn by the call of the stars. We step carefully, for the ground beneath our feet feels ancient, alive with memory, and every step carries us deeper into the past. Each grain of sand, each shift of the wind, whispers of a time long forgotten, of a king whose soul now wanders the heavens, just as he once walked the earth. The tomb is not marked by grand obelisks or towering walls, but by the simple, quiet grace of the desert itself. It is as though the earth has concealed it, wanting to keep the secrets of this forgotten king hidden from the world. The path winds gently through the dunes, the moon casting long, soft shadows across the sand, and as we approach the tomb, we are struck by a strange stillness. It is not the stillness of death, but of waiting, as though the tomb itself is waiting for something or perhaps someone to remember, to uncover the mysteries it holds within. We step into the tomb, the cool air inside a welcome relief from the heat of the desert. The walls are carved with intricate symbols, constellations etched in stone, the paths of stars mapped with a delicate reverence. The king's soul was said to be forever bound to these celestial bodies, to wander among the stars for eternity. It is as though the tomb itself is a mirror of the night sky, each chamber a reflection of the heavens, each step a journey deeper into the universe. The air is thick with silence, and yet, within that silence, there is a presence, a whisper of something greater, something divine, that lingers in the stone. It is the king's soul, perhaps, still wandering the corridors of the afterlife, still guided by the stars. The journey through the tomb is slow, reverent, each step carrying us deeper into the heart of forgotten memory. The walls speak to us in the language of symbols, stars, moons, the ancient signs of the heavens, a language that transcends time, transcends death. It is a language that the king, in his wisdom, once spoke fluently. He was a man who sought the stars as others sought the earth. To him, the stars were not just lights in the sky, but guides, ancient beacons that offered answers to the mysteries of life and death. And so, his tomb is a testament to that belief, a place where the sacred and the eternal meet, where the journey from life to death is not an end, but a continuation. As we move deeper into the tomb, the air grows heavier, as though the weight of centuries presses down upon us. The walls close in, and yet the space feels vast, as though we are walking through a sacred space that stretches into infinity. The chambers twist and turn, leading us down winding corridors, each one filled with symbols, each one a message from the king, a guide for his soul as it ascends into the heavens. There are no grand treasures here, no golden artifacts to mark his reign. There is only the quiet presence of the stars, and the knowledge that the king's journey, like that of all souls, is eternal. At the heart of the tomb, we find a final chamber, and within it, a single stone sarcophagus. It is simple, unadorned, a humble resting place for a king who sought the heavens above all things. The stone is cool to the touch, and as we stand before it, we can almost hear the soft hum of the universe, a sound that seems to vibrate in the very air around us. The sarcophagus holds no body, for the king's body is no longer here, no longer bound to the earth. His soul has ascended, and yet the tomb remains, a silent monument to his belief in the eternal journey of the soul. We linger in the chamber, the silence pressing in, and in that silence, the mystery deepens. Some say that the king's soul still wanders the skies, caught between the stars, forever seeking the path to the afterlife. Others believe that the tomb itself holds the key to the stars, that those who enter with the right heart can hear the whispers of the heavens. But perhaps, in the end, it does not matter. For the king's journey, like all journeys, is his own, and the path he walked was one that led not to answers, but to the quiet understanding that some things are meant to remain a mystery, a sacred secret whispered only to the stars. And so, as we step back from the sarcophagus, the journey through the tomb comes to an end. We leave the final chamber, walking slowly back through the winding corridors, past the symbols of the stars, past the echoes of the king's soul, until we emerge once more into the desert night. The air is cool now, the wind carrying the scent of distant incense, and the stars shine down upon us, cold and distant, just as they have for centuries. Perhaps it was never meant to be found, this tomb. Perhaps it was meant to remain hidden beneath the sands, a silent testament to a king whose name was lost to time. But tonight, the tomb has revealed its secrets, not in the treasures of the earth, but in the timeless journey of the soul, a journey that leads us not to answers, but to a deeper understanding of the mysteries of life, death, and the stars. As we stand beneath the vast sky, the moonlight soft on the sand, we are left with the image of the star still burning bright in the vast desert sky. The tomb is once again silent, its secrets hidden beneath the sands, and the journey of the forgotten king continues, forever wandering the heavens, eternally guided by the light of the stars. And so, we leave the desert, the memory of the tomb fading into the night, as the stars continue their endless journey across the sky. In the quiet solitude of a forgotten world, where the land meets the sea beneath a sky so vast it swallows every whisper, there lies a kingdom. It is a kingdom lost to time, a place forgotten by all but the gentle waves that lap against its shores. The kingdom of Lyonesse, known to few, spoken of only in whispers, is said to have vanished as suddenly as it rose, swallowed whole by the sea in a single, fateful night. Beneath the moon's pale gaze, its story drifts like an ancient dream, half remembered and forever elusive. The air is cool, carrying the scent of salt and seaweed, and we stand at the edge of the shoreline, where the waves caress the land with an eternal rhythm. The water is dark, deep as a secret, stretching endlessly into the horizon. A silver veil of moonlight dances on the surface, casting long shadows that stretch across the forgotten coastline. It is said that this place, this kingdom, was once a paradise, a land where people lived in harmony with the sea, where the tides were not just a cycle but a sacred dance, and the waves were both protectors and destroyers. Their lives were intertwined with the ocean, its pulse a heartbeat beneath their feet, its whispers carried on the wind. But that was long ago, before the silence settled in, before the ocean rose up, swallowing the kingdom whole, claiming it with a suddenness that left no trace of its existence. It is said that one night, as the moon hung low in the sky, the earth trembled beneath the feet of those who still walked the land. The sea, as if responding to some ancient call, surged upwards, rising higher than ever before, and in a wave of salt and shadow, the kingdom was claimed. No cries were heard, no last words spoken, only the sound of water rushing through the streets, the soft, eternal lullaby of the ocean. And then, silence. The legend endures, passed down through generations in hushed tones, as if speaking too loudly would awaken the kingdom from its watery grave. And yet, no one knows where Lyonesse truly lay, only that it was lost, a name now etched in the mists of time. But on this night, beneath the cool gaze of the moon, we follow the whispers that have reached us from the distant shores of a forgotten island. We walk in silence, stepping onto the cold sands, the sound of the waves growing softer as we move deeper into the mystery. We journey slowly, the sound of our footsteps barely audible as we approach the place where the land meets the sea. The ocean, still and quiet under the moonlight, seems to guard its secrets jealously. There are no signs here, no markers, just the subtle curve of the coastline, the faint trace of what once was. The moon's silver light reflects on the surface of the water, casting an ethereal glow that seems to lift the veil of the past, pulling us into the depths of memory. It is said that Lyonesse existed in the space between the tides, neither entirely of the land, nor fully of the sea, a place where the boundary between worlds was blurred. We walk along the edge of the water, our eyes searching the horizon, but there is nothing here. Only the soft hum of the sea, the low whisper of wind across the shore, and the faint, distant call of birds, whose wings have not yet forgotten the kingdom that was. And then, as we move further along the forgotten coastline, the faintest trace of something begins to appear, the silhouette of crumbled stone, a broken pillar half submerged in the water, an archway that once led into a sacred hall. The ruins of Lyonesse lie just beneath the surface of the water, hidden, waiting. They are half drowned in the cold embrace of the ocean, their grandeur now veiled in layers of seaweed and coral, a memory of what was. The submerged ruins rise from the sea like ancient ghosts, silent witnesses to a world long lost. We step carefully, our feet sinking softly into the wet earth, moving through the remains of what once was a city of beauty, where the rhythms of the land and the sea were held in perfect harmony. The architecture here is unlike anything we know, strange yet elegant, with columns twisted like vines and walls adorned with symbols of the sea, of waves and storms, of creatures that once swam in the deep. The moonlight glimmers through the water, casting long shadows on the stone, as if the ruins themselves are alive, waiting to be touched, waiting to be remembered. Each step we take brings us deeper into the heart of the kingdom, into the labyrinth of its lost halls. The water laps against the stone with a soft sigh, the ruins now half submerged in silence. Some believe that the spirits of the people who once lived here still linger beneath the waves, trapped in the ruins, their voices carried on the current. Whispers tell us that if one listens closely, the sound of laughter and song can still be heard, echoing softly across the sea, as though the ocean itself is calling them home. The echoes of their lives are preserved in the silence, a memory that cannot fade, that cannot be washed away by the tides. We move deeper into the heart of the kingdom, stepping through forgotten temples and submerged halls. The walls are covered in coral, the intricate carvings of the people's devotion to the sea, slowly fading beneath the touch of the water. Each step feels like a journey through time, as if we are walking through the very soul of Lyonesse, its life force still lingering in the air, in the water, in the ruins themselves. The sea has not claimed all. Some things remain, hidden beneath the surface, like dreams left behind in the depths. As we pause in the heart of the ruins, we feel the weight of the kingdom's loss, its beauty and mystery now buried beneath the waves. The wind has picked up, swirling around us, and the sound of the waves grows louder, more insistent, as if the ocean itself is trying to speak, trying to tell us what happened that fateful night. But the ocean remains silent, its secrets buried deep in the sand, lost to the depths of the sea. The people of Lyonesse are gone, their city claimed by the waves, their kingdom swallowed by the earth. And yet, their memory lingers here, in the ruins, in the silence, in the eternal ebb and flow of the tide. The final image lingers with us as we stand on the edge of the sea, the ruins fading into the distance behind us. The moon casts its silver light upon the water, and we hear the soft sound of the waves, eternal and unchanged, as the kingdom sinks once more beneath the depths, its story fading into the sea. The ocean, like a keeper of secrets, holds the kingdom of Lyonesse within its depths, its mystery unsolved, its people lost to the moonlit sea. Perhaps it was never meant to be found, this kingdom, lost to the tides and to time. Perhaps its beauty was meant to live only in memory, forever veiled in the ocean's embrace. Some mysteries, it seems, are meant to remain unsolved, lost to the depths, waiting for the right moment to rise once more. As the waves wash over the shore, soft and eternal, we are left with nothing but the silence, the echoes of a kingdom long gone, and the soft light of the moon, marking the passing of time. In the heart of ancient Alexandria, beneath the shadow of the great library, there was a garden, not just any garden, but one of extraordinary beauty and wisdom. This was a place where the very air itself seemed steeped in knowledge, a sacred space where the rhythms of nature and the wisdom of the ancients wove together like a symphony, both serene and profound. The soft rustle of leaves was more than a sound. It was a quiet murmur of secrets, of ideas, and of thoughts that had passed through the minds of the greatest scholars of the ancient world. This garden, now lost to history, once bloomed with the vibrant hues of jasmine, myrrh, and countless other plants whose names have faded with time. The scent of those flowers, like the fragrance of forgotten memories, still lingers faintly in the spaces between the past and the present, carried on the breeze that whispers through the ruins of Alexandria. It is said that this was a place where the greatest thinkers of their time would come to meditate, to sit quietly among the flowers and contemplate the mysteries of the universe. Here, philosophy met nature, and the boundaries between the known and the unknown seemed to blur. The garden was not only a place of beauty, but a sanctuary where knowledge was nurtured, and the mind could wander freely in search of the divine. But like so many wonders of the ancient world, this garden, too, has vanished. It has slipped from our grasp, lost to time and the shifting sands of history. Its once glorious paths are now nothing more than fragments of memory, and its flowers are nothing but a faint trace in the air. Yet, in the stillness of Alexandria's ruins, whispers of its existence remain, carried on the wind like a quiet song, echoing through the hollow spaces where its walls once stood. We begin our journey in the present, beneath the warm golden light of the setting sun. The air is thick with the fragrance of the earth, heavy with the weight of centuries. The soft rustle of leaves greets us as we step into the place where the garden once bloomed. There is no garden here now, only the crumbling remains of what was. The air carries with it the faintest trace of jasmine, a memory so delicate it seems to fade even as we breathe it in. The ground beneath our feet is dust, the remnants of a civilization long past, yet the spirit of the garden is still alive in the very soil. We walk slowly, reverently, as though we are stepping into a dream, careful not to disturb the silence that has settled over this forgotten place. The path before us is faint, barely visible beneath the dust and the shadows. The once lush garden is now a memory etched into the earth, its boundaries blurred by time and the relentless advance of the desert. We follow the faint traces of a path, winding through the ruins, past broken pillars and shattered statues, their once proud forms now crumbled and worn by centuries of wind and rain. Each step feels like a journey through time, as though we are walking in the footsteps of those who came before, those who once sought solace and wisdom here, beneath the watchful gaze of the stars. The garden was not only a sanctuary of thought, but also a place where nature itself was thought to hold the secrets of the universe. It is said that the plants here were more than mere flora. They were vessels of knowledge, each one a key to unlocking the mysteries of the cosmos. In the quiet of the garden, philosophers would sit in meditation, surrounded by the whispers of the wind, the hum of nature's pulse, and the scent of sacred flowers. The wisdom of the ancient world seemed to flow through the leaves, carried on the breeze that stirred the air, as if the garden itself were a living book, open and waiting to be read. We ventured deeper into the heart of the garden, where the faintest traces of its former beauty still remain. Here, the ruins speak to us in fragments: a delicate stone fountain, long, dry, and crumbled, its outline now faded beneath the weight of time. The water that once flowed freely, mirroring the flow of knowledge, has long since gone. The fountain, like so much else, is but a shadow now, a ghost of what it once was. We pause before it, allowing the silence to envelop us. In this stillness, we can almost hear the soft murmur of water, the gentle trickle that once carried the voices of scholars who sat beside it, their words merging with the rhythms of the earth. Near the fountain, we see the faded outline of a statue, its form eroded by the passing years, its features barely discernible beneath the layers of dust and decay. It is said that this statue once depicted a great philosopher, one who sought the secrets of the stars and the soul of the earth. The figure stands frozen in time, its gaze cast upward, as though forever searching for answers in the heavens. The stone is cracked, its surface worn smooth by centuries of wind, but the statue's presence is still palpable, like a silent witness to the wisdom that once flowed through this place. As we walk further, the wind picks up, carrying with it the faintest whisper of something else, a sound, like the rustle of scrolls, fluttering in the air. The sound is soft, almost imperceptible, but it is there, drifting on the breeze. It is said that the wind carries with it the thoughts of those who once walked here, the whispers of their reflections, their questions, and their answers. Perhaps, somewhere in the dust and the stone, there are scrolls that have been forgotten, their knowledge long buried beneath the weight of time. Perhaps they still linger, waiting to be discovered, waiting for someone to listen, to read the words that were once written with the wisdom of the ancients. We continue our journey, stepping through the ruins, listening to the whispers that drift through the air. The garden, though long gone, is still here, in the fragments, in the silent echoes of the past. It is said that the garden was a place where the boundaries between knowledge and nature were erased, where the world of thought and the world of the earth intertwined in a sacred dance. Here, in the garden, wisdom and beauty were one, each nurturing the other, each growing side by side. As we near the end of our journey, the sun begins to set, casting long shadows across the ruins. The last traces of light fade, leaving the garden in twilight. The air is cool now, and the soft scent of jasmine lingers in the breeze. The wind seems to sigh as it passes through the broken columns and the cracked statues, carrying with it the memory of a time when this place was alive with thought and beauty. The garden may be gone, but its essence remains, woven into the fabric of the earth, carried in the whispers of the wind, in the soft rustle of the leaves, and in the quiet of the evening. The final reflection lingers in the silence, a soft echo of what once was, knowledge lost and found, beauty that fades and is reborn. Perhaps the Garden of Alexandria was never meant to be more than a fleeting moment, a place where wisdom bloomed and withered, only to return in the hearts of those who remember. Some gardens, it seems, are not meant to be tended forever, but to exist in memory, to be carried on the wind, to be found again when we are ready to listen. As the last light fades and the wind grows still, we are left with the soft scent of flowers long since faded, the memory of a garden that once bloomed with wisdom, now lost to time, but never truly forgotten. And in that silence, we find peace. In the dense, forgotten jungles of Guatemala, where the shadows of the ancient trees stretch their limbs towards the heavens, there lies a city, silent and still, waiting for the world to remember. This city, Tikal, was once a thriving metropolis, where kings and priests stood beneath the vastness of the stars, their eyes cast upwards in search of answers, answers that the heavens alone could offer. But now, the city sleeps beneath a thick canopy of green, and its temples, weathered by centuries of wind and rain, whisper only to those who are patient enough to listen. The journey begins in the quiet of the jungle, where the air is thick with the weight of humidity and the distant calls of unseen creatures. There is no hurry here. The world seems to breathe slowly, as if time itself has slowed to match the pulse of the earth. We step softly, our feet sinking into the damp soil, the faint scent of earth and leaves mixing with the heavy silence. The trees tower above us, their branches intertwined like ancient hands reaching for the stars, and the canopy stretches far above, filtering the moonlight into soft beams that gently touch the stone below. It is said that the people of Tikal, like many of the ancient civilizations of Mesoamerica, held the stars in reverence. To them, the heavens were not just a backdrop to their lives, but a living force, a connection to the divine. The pyramids that rise above the jungle are not mere monuments to the power of the kings but celestial markers, carefully aligned with the movement of the stars, the sun, and the moon. The priests, with their sacred knowledge, watched these stars with reverence, for they believed that the patterns in the sky held the secrets of the universe, the signs of life and death, and the path to the gods. As we walk deeper into the ruins of Tikal, the city reveals itself slowly, like a dream unfolding in fragments. The towering pyramids rise from the earth like ancient guardians, their stones weathered by time but still holding the secrets of the stars in their cold embrace. The walls are etched with carvings, intricate and detailed, that speak of gods and celestial bodies, of rituals performed under the watchful eye of the heavens. Each step we take brings us closer to the heart of Tikal, where the mysteries of the ancient stargazers still linger in the stone, in the air, in the very soil beneath our feet. We move through the city with reverence, our footsteps soft, as if not to disturb the silence that has settled over this forgotten place. The sounds of the jungle seem to fade as we approach the temples, the stone structures that rise from the earth like ancient sentinels. The jungle has slowly crept back into the city, but the temples, though weathered and cracked, still stand proud, reaching for the sky as they did centuries ago. The carvings on the walls are worn but still legible, the symbols of stars and gods etched in the stone, their meanings lost to time but still speaking to those who are willing to listen. We pause at the base of one of the pyramids, gazing up at its towering presence. The stones beneath our hands are cool, ancient, and rough with age, but there is a quiet energy here, as if the pyramid itself is alive, waiting for something, waiting for us, perhaps, to remember what was once known. It is said that these pyramids were built not only to honor the gods, but also to mark the paths of the stars. The people of Tikal believed that the movement of the celestial bodies was a divine rhythm, a sacred song that they could hear in the quiet of the night. And so, they built their temples and pyramids to align with the heavens, to honor the stars that watched over them. As we climb the steep steps of the pyramid, the air grows thinner, cooler, and the jungle falls away behind us, leaving only the vast expanse of the night sky above. The stars seem to stretch infinitely, their cold light flickering like distant beacons in the sky. Here, atop the pyramid, we are closer to the heavens, closer to the mystery that once captivated the people of Tikal. The view is breathtaking, the jungle spreading out like an endless sea of green, and the stars, so distant and yet so near, seem to watch us with their ancient gaze. There is no rush here. The silence is deep and sacred, filled only with the soft whispers of the wind and the distant calls of the jungle's creatures. In this place, beneath the stars, we feel small, and yet somehow deeply connected to everything that has come before. It is said that the priests who once stood here on the pyramids could hear the music of the stars, a soft hum, a pulse that resonated through the very fabric of the universe. Some believed that this music held the key to the divine, a sacred language spoken only to those who could listen. And so, the people of Tikal built their temples, their pyramids, to listen to that music, to align their lives with the rhythms of the cosmos. The gods were not distant, but present, watching, guiding. The stars themselves were sacred, and the priests, those who could read the sky, were the bridge between the earth and the heavens. As we stand at the top of the pyramid, gazing up at the stars, we too feel the presence of something ancient, something eternal. The stars are cold, distant, their light flickering softly in the vast expanse of the night sky, offering no answers, only silent companionship. The wind carries the faintest trace of a song, a melody lost to time, but still present in the air. Perhaps it is the music of the stars, the same music that the priests of Tikal once listened to, the same music that once guided them. The journey through Tikal is slow, meditative, each step revealing another layer of the city's mystery. The carvings on the walls speak of gods and stars, of the celestial dance that governed the lives of the people. The faint echo of prayers whispered to the stars lingers in the air, as if the city itself still holds the breath of its people, still waits for their return. The stargazers of Tikal are gone, their knowledge lost, their prayers unanswered, but their connection to the stars remains, a thread that runs through the ruins, through the jungle, through the very stones that once marked their sacred temples. As we descend the pyramid, the city fades into the darkness, the moonlight filtering through the canopy, casting long, soft shadows across the stone. The stars, still bright in the sky, seem to watch us as we leave, their cold light marking the end of our journey. The mystery of the Mayan stargazers remains, suspended in the silence of the night, a secret held by the stars themselves. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood, but simply to be experienced, the quiet beauty of the heavens, the silence of the jungle, and the enduring connection between the earth and the stars. The journey ends with a soft sigh, the air still and cool beneath the endless sky. The city of Tikal, once vibrant with life and knowledge, now lies in quiet repose, its mysteries waiting to be rediscovered. And as we stand in the shadow of the pyramids, beneath the stars, we are left with the echo of the past, the faint hum of the universe, and the soft whisper of a journey that may never truly end. In the heart of the ancient world, beneath the gaze of the stars, there stood a library, a place so vast, so brimming with knowledge, that it was said to contain the wisdom of the ages. The Library of Alexandria, a beacon of light in a world still veiled in mystery, was more than just a collection of scrolls and texts. It was a sanctuary for the pursuit of knowledge, a sacred space where truth and understanding were worshipped like the gods themselves. Its walls whispered of forgotten truths, its halls echoed with the thoughts of those who sought to glimpse the infinite. But that was long ago. Now, the library is gone, swallowed by the tides of time and the flames of destruction. Much of its knowledge has been lost, buried beneath the ashes of war, swept away by the currents of history. Yet, there is still a faint echo, a quiet resonance, that lingers in the air, a trace of what once was. Some believe that the spirit of the library still exists, hidden within the dust of forgotten scrolls and the silence of empty halls. And so, we begin our journey, not in the present, but in the memory of the past, a memory conjured from the whispers that remain. The chapter begins with the soft rustling of paper, the faintest scent of ink and parchment, as we step into a library that no longer exists. We walk through its imagined corridors, the walls lined with shelves that stretch into the shadows, filled with books that no longer reside there. The air is thick with the weight of time, the silence heavy and pregnant with unspoken words. It is said that the greatest minds once walked these halls, their footsteps echoing softly against the stone floors, their voices carrying ideas that would shape the future. But now, the library is a ghost, a memory wrapped in the layers of history, its books and scrolls nothing but dust. We wander through the library's imagined halls, our fingers brushing the empty shelves, touching the books that are no longer there. The air around us seems to vibrate with the faintest whispers, the soft murmur of ancient voices carried on the wind. Some believe that the minds of the past still linger here, their thoughts preserved in the very stones of the library, waiting to be rediscovered. As we move deeper into the labyrinth of this long-lost sanctuary, the silence becomes almost sacred, as though the very act of walking through these halls is a ritual, a prayer for the knowledge that was once held within these walls. In the quiet of the library, we begin to uncover traces of what was lost, a forgotten scroll, half buried in the dust, its edges frayed and worn with age. We pause to look, wondering what secrets it might have contained, what wisdom it might have held. But there are no answers here, only the quiet sadness of a mystery that will never be solved. The scroll lies there, forgotten, its message lost to time. Beside it, we find a half-drawn map, its lines faded, its purpose unclear. The map is a relic of a world that no longer exists, a guide to places that have vanished, leaving only traces of their existence in the fragments of history. As we continue our journey through the darkened halls, we discover more symbols carved into the stone, etched into the very fabric of the library itself. Some are familiar, their meanings lost but still recognizable, like the ghostly remnants of an ancient language. Others are strange, alien, their forms twisting in ways that defy understanding, as though they were meant to be read by eyes that no longer exist. The symbols seem to pulse with a quiet energy, a reminder that the knowledge contained within these walls was not just intellectual, but sacred. Each discovery raises more questions than answers, the mysteries multiplying as we walk deeper into the heart of the library. The library was not just a place of learning, it was a temple to the pursuit of knowledge. It was a place where the boundaries between the known and the unknown blurred, where the gods of understanding and the mysteries of the universe were revered in equal measure. The priests of knowledge who walked these halls were not just scholars, but seekers, seekers of truth, of wisdom, of answers to the questions that echoed through the ages. They believed that knowledge was not a possession, but a sacred gift, one that must be shared, one that must be nurtured, passed down through the generations. The very act of learning was an act of devotion, a way of connecting with the divine. But that was long ago. The library, once a shining beacon of knowledge and wisdom, has long since been reduced to rubble, its books scattered, its scrolls burned, its walls crumbled. The flames that consumed it took more than just paper and ink, they took the soul of a civilization, the heart of an era. Some say that the fire was not just an accident, but a cleansing, a destruction meant to erase the past, to make way for the future. Others believe it was a betrayal, an attempt to silence the knowledge that threatened the powers of the world. Whatever the reason, the library is gone, and with it, much of what was once known. And yet, in the stillness of its absence, the echoes remain. The whispers of the great minds who once walked these halls can still be heard, faintly, like a distant song carried on the wind. Perhaps it was never meant to be found, this knowledge, this wisdom. Perhaps it was meant to fade, to be lost, as all things must eventually be. Or perhaps the echoes are meant to be heard only when we are ready to listen, when we are ready to rediscover the secrets that have been buried beneath the sands of time. As we leave the library, the silence hangs heavy in the air, like the final note of a song that lingers long after the music has stopped. The darkness of the night seems to swallow us whole, and the stars above shine with an almost mournful light, their cold brilliance a reminder of all that has been lost. The knowledge of the ancients, once held in the hands of those who sought it, now drifts like smoke, fading into the endless expanse of the heavens. The library is no more. Its books are gone. Its scrolls are ashes. Its walls have crumbled. But still, its spirit remains, a quiet, unspoken presence, waiting for us to remember. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps some knowledge is meant to stay hidden, buried beneath the surface, preserved in the very silence that surrounds us. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen, and some stories are never truly lost, only waiting for the right moment to resurface. The Library of Alexandria may be gone, but its memory lingers, a faint echo in the distance, carried on the wind like a forgotten prayer, a whisper in the dark. And so, as we turn away from the ruins, we are left with the knowledge that some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved. The library, its scrolls, its wisdom, have all faded into the shadows of time, leaving behind only the faintest trace of what once was. But still, we carry its legacy with us, not in the books we hold, but in the questions we ask, the wisdom we seek, and the quiet reverence we hold for the mysteries of the universe. Under the watchful gaze of the stars, in a place where time feels both ancient and infinite, there stands a monument of stone, silent, steadfast, and full of mystery. The stones of Stonehenge, towering monoliths etched into the fabric of the earth, have baffled the world for millennia. They are more than just relics. They are questions without answers, whispers from a forgotten time. Beneath the infinite sky, the stones stand, aligned with the heavens themselves, each one marking a point in the great cosmic dance. It is said that these stones once held a secret, one that was so profound it could only be revealed to those who truly understood the language of the stars. But what is that secret? What knowledge do these stones hold, buried deep beneath their weathered surfaces? We begin our journey in the stillness of the evening, beneath a sky veiled in twilight. The earth hums beneath our feet, as if alive with the memory of centuries. The cool evening air brushes against our skin, soft and fleeting. The stones loom before us, their jagged forms rising from the earth like ancient sentinels, standing in eternal silence. Each one is weathered by time, their surfaces worn smooth by the passing years, but they are untouched by the passage of centuries. In their stillness, they seem to pulse with a forgotten energy, a rhythm that calls to us, though we cannot quite hear it. The stones are not lifeless. They are the keepers of something far older than we can understand. The air around them is thick with the weight of history, with the echoes of a time long past. As we approach the stones, we pause, feeling the weight of their presence. There is a quiet reverence in the air, a sense that we are stepping into a place that holds the very breath of the earth. The silence here is palpable, stretching out like a vast sea, wrapping itself around us. The stones themselves seem to hold a secret, a truth that has been hidden for ages. Who built this sacred place? Why were these stones placed here, in this precise alignment with the sun, the moon, and the stars? Theories abound. Some say they were placed by ancient druids, others that they were built by a forgotten civilization with knowledge of the stars that was lost to time. But no one knows for sure. The truth remains veiled, buried beneath the weight of centuries, waiting for the right question to be asked. We step closer, the cool air whispering around us, carrying with it the faintest trace of ancient incense, as though the spirits of the past still linger here, watching, waiting. The stones rise in front of us, their massive forms towering above, reaching toward the heavens. Some stand alone, their surfaces weathered and cracked by the elements, while others are part of a greater circle, their ancient faces aligned with the rhythms of the earth. The alignment of the stones with the solstices is no coincidence. There is something deliberate here, something sacred. It is said that at dawn on the summer solstice, the sun rises precisely over the central stone, casting a shadow that aligns perfectly with the others. The stones themselves seem to be a map, a guide to the heavens, a language written in stone that only the stars can fully understand. As we stand before them, we cannot help but wonder, what knowledge did they hold? What was it that the builders of Stonehenge understood about the world and the universe that we have since forgotten? Perhaps these stones were once more than just markers of time. Perhaps they were a bridge between the earth and the stars, a sacred space where the boundaries between the known and the unknown, between the mortal and the divine, were blurred. Perhaps the stones themselves were meant to speak, but only to those who knew how to listen. With each stone we approach, a new layer of mystery reveals itself. The carvings, though faint and worn, hint at something greater, something not yet understood. They are symbols of the stars, of cycles that stretch beyond human comprehension, of the movements of the heavens, mapped and recorded in stone. Some of the carvings resemble spirals, ancient symbols that many believe are connected to the journey of the soul, the eternal passage between life and death. Others resemble celestial bodies, suns and moons, their paths woven into the fabric of the stones, as though the builders of Stonehenge were mapping the sky itself. As the night deepens, we feel a shift in the air. The moon rises slowly, casting its pale light upon the stones, painting them in a soft, ethereal glow. The stars flicker above, distant and cold, their light ancient and unyielding. In this moment, the stones feel alive, as though they are watching us, their silent gaze following our every move. The alignment of the stones with the stars seems more profound now, as if the heavens themselves are beckoning us to look closer, to seek out the answers hidden in the silence. But no answers come. The stones remain still, their mystery intact. It is as though they are waiting for something for us to understand, for us to ask the right question. The air grows colder as the night stretches on. The sounds of the earth have quieted, leaving only the soft rustle of the wind and the distant call of unseen creatures. The stones stand silent, their secrets buried beneath layers of time, waiting for the right moment to be uncovered. Perhaps that moment will never come. Perhaps the knowledge contained within these stones is not meant to be found, not in this lifetime, not in this age. Some believe that the stones were not meant to be understood, but to be experienced as sacred space where the mysteries of the universe can be felt but not fully known. And so, we stand before the stones, gazing up at the star-filled sky. The silence of Stonehenge presses in on us, soft and eternal, a reminder that some mysteries are not meant to be solved. The stones, though weathered and worn, still stand, their alignment with the stars unchanged. Their secrets are still buried beneath the earth, waiting for the right question to be asked. But perhaps the question is not for us to answer, but for the stars themselves to reveal when the time is right. The final image is one of silence, the stones standing still against the backdrop of the endless sky, their mystery eternal. Perhaps it was never meant to be found, this secret hidden within the stones. Perhaps it is a knowledge that will only ever exist in the quiet whispers of the wind, in the silent gaze of the stars. The stones of Stonehenge remain, as they always have, silent and watchful, waiting for those who are willing to listen. Some mysteries are meant to be felt, not understood, and in their silence, the stones continue to speak, marking the passage of time beneath the watchful eye of the stars. And so, as the night deepens and the stones fade into the mist, we are left with only the quiet hum of the earth beneath our feet and the soft gaze of the stars above. Some things, it seems, are meant to remain forever in the shadows, their secrets lost to the ages, their whispers carried on the wind. High upon the sacred slopes of Mount Parnassus, where the winds whisper in tongues older than memory, there stood a temple, not just a structure of stone and mortar, but a gateway to the divine. It is said that within this temple, the oracle of Delphi sat in silence, her gaze distant yet focused, her mind attuned to the whispers of the gods. From the depths of this ancient place, answers were spoken to those who sought them, yet the answers were never clear, always wrapped in layers of mystery, veiled in riddles and visions that could never be fully understood. For those who came seeking, the truth was a breath, a fleeting moment, carried on the wind, just beyond reach. We begin our journey in the stillness of the air, the soft whisper of the wind stirring the pine trees that line the slopes of the mountain. The scent of the forest, rich and fragrant, fills the lungs as we walk slowly toward the ruins of Delphi, the once holy city now veiled in time and memory. The stone steps beneath our feet are worn smooth, their edges rounded by the countless feet of pilgrims who came from distant lands, seeking the wisdom of the gods. With each step, we feel the weight of their journey, their hopes and desires carried upon the winds that sweep across the mountain. The air grows cooler as we climb, the breeze a soft touch against the skin, as though the mountain itself is breathing, sharing its ancient secrets with those who are willing to listen. It is said that the oracle's temple stood as a place where the line between the divine and the mortal was blurred. The gods, those ancient, unknowable forces, spoke through her, their voices carried on the wind, their messages wrapped in riddles that only the chosen few could hope to understand. The oracle herself was a priestess, a woman who would sit upon a sacred seat, inhaling the vapors that rose from the earth below, intoxicated by the fumes that gave her the ability to hear the gods. She would fall into a trance, and in that trance, she spoke, offering prophecies that were said to change the course of history. Yet the answers were always elusive, wrapped in layers of ambiguity, like the fog that clung to the mountain peaks at dawn. The gods spoke, but they spoke in riddles, and their words left more questions than answers. We walk through the ruins now, stepping lightly over stones that have stood for millennia. The air is thick with silence, the ruins seeming to hold their breath, as though the gods themselves still linger here, watching, listening. The temple is no longer what it once was, its walls crumbled, its columns fallen into ruin, its sacredness now a mere shadow. Yet there is still a presence here, an energy that we can almost feel beneath the soles of our feet. The breeze seems to carry the faintest trace of something else, a whisper, perhaps, or the soft murmur of the oracle's voice, lost to time but still carried upon the wind. In the stillness, we feel it, the weight of history, the weight of 1,000 questions unanswered, 1,000 prophecies spoken in cryptic tongues. The steps we take are slow, deliberate, as if we are walking through a dream. The stones beneath our feet feel cool and smooth, worn by centuries of footsteps, yet they seem to hum with the presence of those who have come before. We pause at the base of the temple, gazing up at the shattered remains of what was once a place of immense power. The columns, now broken and crumbling, reach toward the sky like skeletal arms, their stone surfaces etched with symbols that speak of a time long past. These carvings, faded by time, still seem to pulse with meaning, their lines twisting and spiraling like the very breath of the gods. Some of the symbols are familiar, the sun, the moon, the stars, while others are strange, their meanings lost to the ages, but they are all part of the same language, the same message, a message that is wrapped in mystery, just as the oracle's words were wrapped in ambiguity. As we step deeper into the ruins, we are drawn toward the inner sanctum of the temple. Here, the air feels different, heavier, as though the walls themselves are holding their breath. The shadows grow deeper, and the light that filters through the broken roof of the temple seems to soften, casting a gentle glow upon the stone floor. In this quiet space, the presence of the gods is palpable, though it is not seen. It is as though the very air is alive with their whispers, their breath faint but palpable. The oracle's seat, where she once sat, is now empty, but we can almost imagine her there, her eyes closed, her mind attuned to the voices that spoke to her from the depths of the earth. It is said that those who sought the oracle's wisdom often left with more questions than they arrived with. The answers she gave were never simple. The gods did not speak plainly. They spoke in riddles, in symbols, in dreams. The most famous of these riddles is perhaps the one spoken to King Croesus, who asked whether he should go to war with Persia. The oracle, in her cryptic wisdom, told him that if he crossed the river, he would destroy a great empire. Croesus, interpreting the prophecy as a sign of victory, went to war, only to lose everything. The gods had not lied. They had only spoken in a language that could not be easily understood. The mystery of Delphi lies not just in the oracle's prophecies, but in the way they were spoken. The gods' answers were shrouded in layers of meaning, wrapped in veils of ambiguity, and perhaps this was their purpose, to remind those who sought wisdom that true understanding does not come easily, that the answers to life's most profound questions cannot be given in simple terms. The gods speak, but their words are not always clear. The key lies in listening, in reflecting, in seeking the deeper meaning beneath the surface. As we step back from the ruins, the wind picks up, carrying with it the soft murmur of something ancient. The moon, now high in the sky, casts its silvery light upon the temple's remains, and we are left with the feeling that the gods, though distant, are still watching, still listening. The oracle's voice, though silent now, still lingers in the air, like the faintest trace of a dream. And as we leave the sacred space of Delphi, we are left with the same question that has echoed through the ages. What did the gods truly say? What secrets did they whisper? And how much of it was a riddle? The answers are lost to time, buried beneath the layers of history, but the mystery remains. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. Perhaps the oracle's prophecies were never meant to be fully understood, but only felt, experienced in the quiet moments of reflection. Perhaps the true wisdom of Delphi is not in the answers, but in the questions themselves, the sacred uncertainty that hangs in the air, a reminder that some mysteries are meant to remain, not solved, but lived. And so, as we stand beneath the watchful gaze of the stars, the mystery of the oracle at Delphi lingers in the stillness, waiting, like the breath of the gods, for the right moment to speak again. Perhaps, in the quiet of the night, we will hear their whispers once more. On a distant shore, where the jagged cliffs meet the restless sea, there once stood a lighthouse, a beacon of hope, guiding weary ships safely through the treacherous waters that crashed relentlessly against the rocks below. The light from its towering spire would have been a steady promise in the darkness, a lifeline in the storm, a signal of safety in the vast, unfathomable ocean. But now, that light is gone. The lighthouse stands in shadow, its beam extinguished, and the keeper who once tended to the flame has vanished into the mists of time. What remains is a silent monument to a forgotten purpose, standing as a solitary witness to a story lost to the winds. We begin our journey with the sound of the ocean. The waves crash violently against the cliffs, their force echoing in the air, a reminder of the power and unpredictability of the sea. The wind tugs at our hair, pulling us toward the lighthouse, its silhouette dark and imposing against the setting sun. The sky above is painted in shades of orange and purple, the last light of day fading into the deepening shadows of night. The lighthouse stands against the horizon, a sentry whose watch has long since ended. Its stone walls are worn and weathered by the salt and wind, its windows dark, the beam that once pierced the night now a memory. The sound of the ocean grows louder, but there is no light to follow, only the empty promise of what once was. As we approach the lighthouse, there is an eerie stillness in the air. The wind seems to carry a faint trace of something lost, the echoes of a life spent in solitude, the faintest whisper of a story that has faded into time. The keeper, who once climbed these same steps to tend to the light, is gone. What became of him? Was it a simple accident, a natural end to a life devoted to an eternal task, or was there something more? Some say that in the years before the light was extinguished, a strange silence overtook the lighthouse, a quiet that crept into the keeper's heart and mind, until one day he disappeared without a trace. His journals, now yellowed with age, tell of his growing unease, of a presence he could not name, of the way the silence felt heavier as the years passed, a weight that pulled at him like the tide pulling a boat out to sea. But what caused this silence? What secret did the keeper uncover? Or perhaps, what was he running from? We step through the doorway of the lighthouse, the wooden door creaking on its hinges, and the smell of salt and dampness fills the air. The walls are lined with fading photographs, their edges curling, their colors muted by the passage of time. Dust hangs thick in the air, soft beams of sunlight filtering through the broken windows, casting long shadows across the floors. There is a haunting stillness here, as though the life that once filled this place has been slowly eroded, leaving only the remnants of a forgotten existence. The keeper's journals lie on a small table near the base of the stairs, their pages brittle, the ink fading as if the very act of remembering has caused them to deteriorate. We cannot help but wonder, what did the keeper see in the years before the light went out? What did he sense in the quiet, creeping darkness that took root in this place? We climb the winding stairs of the lighthouse, each step creaking beneath our weight, the stone walls closing in around us. The air grows cooler as we rise higher, the scent of old wood and sea salt mixing with the faint trace of something else, something forgotten, something elusive. The stairs twist upward, narrowing as we approach the top. We can hear the wind howling outside now, pressing against the walls, as though it too is trying to pull us back, urging us to leave the lighthouse and its secrets behind. But we continue, drawn by a force we cannot name, a quiet curiosity that tugs at us like the waves pulling at the shore. At the top, we reach the room where the light once shone, where the keeper would have stood in the long hours of the night, watching over the sea, keeping the ships safe. Now, the room is empty, its lantern long extinguished. The windows are cracked, the glass weathered by time, and the walls are lined with remnants of the past old maps, charts that have long since faded, and a broken compass, its needle still, as though it too has forgotten its purpose. The beam that once reached out to the horizon is no more, and in its place there is only darkness, the vast expanse of the sea stretching out below, wild and untamed, crashing against the cliffs in endless waves. The keeper's absence is palpable here, a void that cannot be filled. His life, once tied to this place, now seems like a fleeting memory, lost in the mist. Was his disappearance a final escape from the silence that grew within these walls? Or was there something more to his departure? Perhaps the lighthouse was never meant to keep light but to hold something else, something that is now gone, fading with each passing year. Perhaps the keeper was the last to know the truth, the last to stand at the edge of the world and hear the whispers that the ocean and the wind carried, whispers of things lost, of forgotten promises, of a light that was never meant to shine forever. As we stand at the top of the lighthouse, looking out over the darkened sea, we are left with a quiet reflection. The waves crash below, their sound distant, almost muffled, as though the sea itself is calling us to listen. The sky above is clear, the stars beginning to prick through the dark fabric of night, each one cold and distant, offering no comfort, only a silent reminder of the vastness of the world. The light is gone, the keeper is gone, the mystery remains. Perhaps it was never meant to be found, the true story of the lighthouse, of the keeper, of the light that was extinguished. Perhaps the lighthouse was always meant to stand in silence, its secrets hidden beneath the waves, buried beneath the weight of time. Some stories, it seems, are never fully told, and some truths are only felt, like the wind that stirs the air, like the ocean that shapes the land there, but just out of reach. And so, the lighthouse stands in the dark, its beam lost to the shadows, the keeper's voice now only an echo in the distance. The mystery of the light remains unsolved, as the sea crashes relentlessly against the cliffs below, its call eternal, its answer lost. And in the silence, we are left to wonder, perhaps the lighthouse was never meant to shine again. Perhaps its light was never truly for the ships below, but for something deeper, something hidden beneath the surface of the earth, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. Perhaps, in the end, the answer is simply to wait and listen to the whispers of the wind. The light is gone, but the mystery lingers, ever present, in the silence of the night.